Hi folks, as I promised you uploads on Mondays, you'll get an upload on Monday. Once again from my car, I'm afraid. Luckily for him and for me, my stepson is moving out on Friday, so I get to keep his bedroom, which will be my little YouTube lair, shall we say. So this is where future uploads will come from, and hopefully I'll have a bit more handle on the tech and sharing screenshots and such for you. But for now, I'll do this week's in the car. As promised, I'll start with a joke, and this is a long one, so apologies in advance. So, this gentleman who's down on his luck and clearly living on the streets, he goes into a bar, and he puts a few pennies on the countertop and says to the barman, "Can I have a beer? Can I have a beer?" And the barman says, "There's nowhere near enough money here for a beer, pal. But it's a slow afternoon, so if you can entertain me, I'll give you a beer." And the guy says, "That's absolutely not a problem." So he gets this little hamster and he puts it on the bar. So the hamster looks around for a moment and he runs across the bar and he jumps on the pub's piano. And by jumping on the keys, it plays a perfect, absolutely perfect version of "I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy." And then as soon as it finishes the last note, it leaps back on the bar and the gentleman scoops him up, puts him in his pocket. The barman says, "That's amazing. Here, have a pint." So he drinks his pint and he gets to the end of his pint and he's still only got his few pennies, and he says to the barman, "Okay, if I entertain you again, can I have another beer?" And the barman thinks, he's getting cocky now, but, he says, "Look, if you can top that, pal, and you can have another beer." So he gets this frog out of his other pocket. He puts the frog down gently on the bar, and the frog starts singing the most perfect version of Nos and Dorma that you've ever heard. Not a dry eye in the house. Everyone in the pub, they're just looking stunned at one another. It's like the most beautiful thing they've ever heard coming out this frog's throat. So he picks up this frog, puts it back in his pocket. The barman duly delivers, gives him a pint. So there's a businessman tapping away in the corner, and he's on his laptop and he's looking as he watched everything that's happened, and he walks over to the chap who's clearly down on his luck and says, "I'll give you 500 quid cash right now for that frog." And the guy says, "Yeah, okay." So hands over the frog, takes the cash. The barman says, "Are you crazy? You could have made a fortune with that frog." And the guy says, the homeless guy says, "Nah, it's all right. It's the hamster. He's a ventriloquist." So there we go. There's nearly 3 minutes worth of joke for you. So I apologise, but that is one of my favourites of all time. So there we go. So today, my financial insight is Trading 212, a mobile app that you can now also log into on your website. And like everyone, I've been stuck on furlough for quite a long time earlier on in the year. Back at work now, thankfully. And, I was looking at ways, worrying about my job and looking at ways to earn money or to do something with money. And I came across Trading 212. Lots and lots of YouTubers have done content on this. So I just thought I'd touch on it in my little channel. So what it is a mobile app that allows you to invest. Now, I've had an investment account with Halifax for many, many years, and I've never really used it. For one thing, you've got to ring them up, and for another, there's quite a £10 fee every time, and it just became a little bit, expensive. So I just thought, and ahhed, buy the odd share, and it never really did anything for me. I never got excited about it, but Trading 212 changed that. It's a mobile app that's very clean, very easy to use, and it allows you to do a few things that other apps couldn't do. Or rather, other trading platforms prior to these recent times we couldn't do. One of them is you can buy shares commission free. So you can buy a share from whoever they have listed, and they have lots and lots of people listed, and there's no commission. You just buy the share, and that's that. So that's first thing, commission free. Secondly, that, like I say, no fees, that's commission free. Secondly, they also have a practice account, and the practice account, allows you to play before you're ready to spend any money. It allows you to play with the app, get to know it, see how it works. And the practice account gives you up to $50,000, and you can do what you want with that $50,000. You can create a little account, You know, you can mess about, you can learn how it works, the ins and outs, you can learn to watch shares, and that's really helpful. As it was, I had some money sat stale in a bank account I wanted to invest, so I invested. So I very quickly got into it, watched a lot of YouTube before I invested, and one thing I didn't do, but that they also offer ISAs, so they offer fee-free ISAs as well. I had an ISA elsewhere. I've since signed my wife up for ISAs with trading 212, and it's working very well. So that's one thing. So you've got a practice account, you've got fee-free share trading, you've got ISAs. Another thing is they allow you to buy fractional shares, and this is something that was new to me. So, you know, someone like Google or Apple or Amazon or Tesla, these are expensive shares. The average everyday Joe doesn't have the money to buy multiple shares of these people. But what these fractional shares allow you to do is buy a proportion of a share from these big companies, you know, and you can build that up into a whole share and multiple shares. And also you get paid dividends on your fractionals as well. So, and that was a really good feature. And, you know, it's, again, a complete new thing to me. So I was amazed by that. That was really brilliant. And a newer thing is they now allow you to create pies. And what I mean by a pie is they allow you to bunch together shares under a heading. They allow you to set goals. They allow you to auto-invest your dividends, auto-invest your money. And let's say you've got 10 companies and you want to invest a set percentage in each of those companies. You could have, I don't know, all of them on 10%, or you could have one on 50% and spread the other 50% among the rest. And when you fund that, it will automatically invest in them all in the spread you've told it. So that's a very good way of controlling it. And I'm guessing hardcore investors won't like that, because it means it doesn't allow you to invest in individual shares. But you can do that. You can look at your investments separately and invest in individual shares. But if you want to take all the drama out of it and just chuck a chunk of money at a certain set shares, and you can rebalance it, change it, add things, import investments, export them, it is a really, really useful thing. And I've got my shares. I've got quite a lot of shares because as someone who's new, I listened to the advice and went diverse. So my shares are across a range of sectors. I've got ETFs, which is exchange traded funds. You can look up if you're interested. Those are quite safer because that's like buying a share, but it's spread amongst multiple companies. So I've got these 3 pies. Mine are set amongst 3 pies, and my 3 pies, you know, I'm going to throw a set amount of money to each of those every month. And I've found that that's probably going to be the way I go with that. So that, in a nutshell, is much of what you can do with trading 212. Another useful thing they do is they give you lots of information, more than other platforms I use, like Free Trade, for example. Trading 212 give you lots of information about the company, stats and figures, and you know, and they really, you know, go to town. You can look up more on the internet, obviously Google, Yahoo Finance, and what have you. But so that's that. And there's one other little side benefit, if you want, and I use the word side deliberately because you generate a bit of a side hustle with this as well. I know it's one of the buzzwords of side hustle, another means of making income, as it were. But they give you, as a account holder, a referral code, and you can share that on your social media. And if your friend Bob, hello Bob, if your friend Bob decides he wants to sign up with Trading 212 and he uses your link, you both get a free share. And that share is usually worth somewhere between a sort of, I think, £10 and £100 or thereabouts. £100 is the limit. I'm not sure what the lower limit is. I don't think I've ever had anything under a £5, put it that way. And, you know, that means that you can actually generate a tasty little income if people use your link. And, you know, and I think that's a good thing. And yes, it encourages people to be a pain in the neck on social media and share. But you know what? It's a good service. I believe in it. I think they're doing really well. I think they're allowing people who've never been able to invest before to invest. So I'll share it. I have shared it. I'll put it at the bottom of every one of my YouTube posts. And if you want to have a play around, even if it's just a practice account, sign up. Stick a tenner in there. You'll get a share. I'll get a share. But mess about. You don't have to do anything. You've got lots and lots of time. To play with a practice account, you don't have to sign up. But it's a good service. It's revolutionised my savings and what I do with my income. Now, one of the things I do when I get my wages is I decide, right, what am I going to do with my wages? First thing I'm going to do, how much I'm going to invest this month. And it goes across a spread of companies into my ISA, into my wife's ISA, and one or two other places. But that's the nub of it. So no one is saying put all your money in trading 2-on-2, but why not build up a fund every month? Instead of taking your life savings and just chucking it at it, build up a fund. Do it every month, and that will grow. And as I said, with your pie feature, you can set financial goals. You can say £10,000, and it'll tell you where you are. It'll tell you what your returns are. And don't forget, talking about side incomes and incomes, a lot of the companies you're going to invest in are going to have dividends. So again, you can choose to auto invest them, or you can decide, I'm going to withdraw that. I'm going to send it somewhere else. The point is, it's revolutionised my finances and how I'm looking at my future. And I'm 50 now. I'm looking to retire 65 or earlier. So I'm throwing as much as I've got at this, really. And if you're young and you've got all that time, you could have a lot of money saved in 10, 15, 20 years. And, if you pay at the beginning of the month every month and it becomes a commitment, you don't know it's gone, but it's growing. It's there and it's growing. Obviously, financial advice, I'm not giving you advice, blah, blah, blah. But, yes, of course, capital's at risk. It goes up, it goes down. Do your research, find out where you can put it safely, spread it amongst things, and, over the period of time, investing in the stock market has been shown to have more growth. You know how much interest you get from your bank account. It's nothing, it's pitiful. And that's what made me invest. I thought, I'm willing to take the risk of things going up and down because I'm getting a dividend income and I'm going to get growth off some stocks. And I believe in the long term, due to inflation and other factors, companies being successful, I will do well at this. And that's the approach I take. I take a balanced approach. It's well spread. And all eggs definitely not in one basket. And that's the way I do it. Okay, folks, so I'm on about 12 and a half minutes for this video. Bearing in mind, I told you a joke for 3, so my 10-minute video cap has been exceeded already. However, hope you had fun. Hope it gave you something to think about. As I say, it's on all the app stores, trading 2-on-2. Give it a go. Play with the practice account. Use my referral link. It'd be much appreciated. And hook up with me on Twitter. Hull EV Guy on Twitter. I'll give you any help, advice that I'm able to. If I can't help you, I know lots of helpful YouTubers and other people who will also be happy to help you. At the end of the day, I just want people to have a better financial life going forward. Perhaps better than I did. I'm doing better than some, but, I could have done better. I could have done a lot better. And there's a whole new generation of young people now who are so much more savvy. And I want you all to do well out of life. Stay safe. These are strange times. Take care.